My name is Ethan Borg and I am the EMtuitive, and today we're going to talk about heavy metals. I'm almost 2 decades into Chinese medicine, and for most of my career I have to say that I poo-pooed heavy metals as being all that important for people. For most of my career I thought that it was overly hyped in terms of a problem. But what I've discovered over time is that heavy metals can be a problem. They often cause histamine to be released, and that histamine will be like a constant allergic reaction. Mercury, for instance, is one of these bad boys that will cause a constant histamine reaction. And over time, what I discovered are that infectious organisms that we call in Chinese medicine and in the technique that I teach called Eminus, that we discovered that pathogens, infectious organisms, are the most common cause of heavy metals building up in the body. And so I'm going to teach you a technique, how to use the M level 1 technique that's free to clear heavy metals from your body, or to at least reduce them significantly. Now, most systems for clearing heavy metals use a purgative technique. And while that is all said and good, it requires that the GI tract or some part of the body that can process wastes be involved in the elimination of heavy metals. And I'm not a big fan of that. I have created techniques in Eminus for that, and what I see is that it will bog down the GI tract. And so over time, I have created other techniques for getting rid of heavy metals that I think are even better and faster and more direct. And what we're going to do with this technique is essentially, in Chinese medicine we have this term called vaporize, and we're going to use that in Eminus here. We're going to vaporize the heavy metals, and vaporizing is essentially tearing apart the molecular bonds and the atomic bonds of these metals down to their more fundamental energy building blocks. You don't have to know any of that. All you have to know is how to say this very simple phrase. Now the send M technique is the M level 1 technique. I'm going to teach that to you right now real quickly, and that is you say this phrase, please send M, and then you indicate the person you want to treat and their relationship with you. To treat, and then you indicate a problem that you want to treat. In this case, it's going to be to vaporize heavy metals. And then you have a very special word at the very end that you say called authenticated. These words every word can be moved around, the parts can be moved around, but you can't move around authenticated. It has to be the very last thing that you say. The technique, Eminus, is running in something called universal qi, like software runs on your computer as a service. It's just waiting for something to happen inside universal qi. And when you say this phrase that I just stated out loud, that will be recognized by this software of Eminus running in universal qi, that a change has happened in universal qi, and specifically that an M event is has been launched. An M event means that a change is identified in universal qi, and that change indicates that Eminus needs to send energy to a specific individual. And Eminus being this software running in universal qi. It's not a spiritual form, it's just some part of universal qi itself that I have basically programmed into universal qi. And you can learn more about my history and how I was a programmer before I became a practitioner of classical Chinese medicine, and how that all developed in a different video. But essentially, this is how I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to say, please send M to vaporize all heavy metals in myself. Authenticated. Now, I told you a moment ago that infectious organisms commonly cause heavy metals to build up. So I don't want to just clear the heavy metals. I want to clear the organisms that are producing the heavy metals or keeping them in my body. So I'm going to say, please send M to destroy all pathogens and all gu and chong. These are special terms in Chinese medicine for parasites. Pathogens are infectious organisms akin to viruses and fungi, and gu and chong are akin to parasites. So I'm going to use that phrase, and you can learn this phrase. Please send M to destroy all pathogens, gu and chong, in my body producing heavy metals. Authenticated. Now I've basically done most of what I need to do here, but I want to do one more thing, which is that every organism produces toxins. So we want to get rid of the toxins that these organisms that we just treated have been producing other than heavy metals. So please send M to me to destroy all pathogen toxins from the organisms treated in me today, authenticated. Now I've done 3 things, and that is a much more complete process. The first one was to vaporize heavy metals. The second one was to treat the organisms producing them. And the third one was to get rid of any other toxins that these organisms may be producing. Now, if you're pregnant, do not use these techniques on yourself. That is the one contraindication for using Eminis is that we don't treat pregnant women, just out of an abundance of caution. And you can use this technique on other people with their consent. You have to say, can I treat you with M? And if they say yes, then you can send these treatments to them. However, do not send these treatments to pregnant women. But otherwise, pets, people, and plants can be treated with these treatments. And so if I wanted to treat my dog Tibby for heavy metals, I would say, please send M to my dog Tibby to vaporize heavy metals, authenticated. Again, that last term has to be used, authenticated. Now, if you make a mistake, there's a phrase we use in Eminis. We say new process. That also comes from programming, and basically new process is like, let's start again. So at any point you could say new process to start up again. Now I want to treat the pathogens producing the heavy metals in my dog Tibby. So I'd say, please send them to my dog Tibby to destroy all pathogens, goo, and chong producing heavy metals in her, authenticated. And now I want to get rid of all the toxins other than heavy metals produced by these organisms in her. So I say, please send M to my dog Tibby to destroy all pathogen toxins produced by the organisms treated in her today, authenticated. I can treat a person, a pet, I just need consent. Distance does not matter for sending a treatment at all. You can learn more about this by seeing other videos in the EMtuitive channel on YouTube. You can learn more about this technique and learn how to send more energy and learn other levels of Eminis at eminismirus.com, EMINUSMIRUS.com. And you can see more videos of mine at the EMtuitive YouTube channel, EMtuitive. And you can go to my website at EMtuitive.com to receive access to private content, videos not being posted publicly that are exclusive to you, that are also free. And become a Facebook fan of the EMtuitive at EMtuitive on Facebook. And I look forward to talking to you there and discussing how you can use this technique to treat your mind, body, and spirit, and to have even more control over your experience in life. Thank you.